we have quite a few couples, reach out to us and say, man, we would like to, but there's a list of objections, and they all have merit. They all have reason behind it. You two both touched on the fact that 1.5 bath was kind of a necessity, and that is totally understanding. Drew's about to get married. I'm married. I mean, I totally understand why that would be a concern. Just kind of speak to people out there that are listening that are maybe in that situation, couples considering it. Maybe they are also living kind of paycheck to paycheck, and they're kind of like, man, I mean, I see where this kind of leads to. Maybe they're looking up to their boss and they're like, man, I don't really want to imitate that life. But also at the same time, I don't really know if I want to quote unquote downgrade and live like a renter again. But there's a way around that. And, my wife and I mean, we live somewhat similarly. It sounds like, we live in a side-by-side duplex now, but it doesn't feel necessarily like, like we're tenants in a large, like we used to be renters. So just kind of talk to people that are considering making that transition.
I think Michael was really the driver of moving us forward in this decision-making process. And I was definitely along for the ride. He did a great job of listening to my concerns and thinking through ways to address them, kind of like how we talked about driving around the neighborhood at night, making sure that the house had at least our bare minimum qualifications. I think we've also learned that if it feels scary, it's a good leap to make. I think a lot of people struggle with that. They stand on the edge and they see the horizon, but they're scared to make the jump. And in our experience, making the jump has been worth it, and it's been scary. And we've had people telling us that it's not possible, or they're nervous for the decisions we're making. But every leap we've made has been worth it and successful. And my advice would be just to make the leap, even if it feels scary.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, there really are. That's why I wanted to kind of touch on that from your perspective, both of your perspective, is because there are so many people kind of, like right there wanting to do it, but it is a scary leap. And probably the most challenging part, which you guys alluded to a little bit earlier, was the fact that both of your parents kind of started, which is natural. They want the best for both of you, I'm certain. And, there are a lot of parents out there that, probably weren't accustomed to this. And, the cost of living has dramatically risen since they were in both of your situation. And so it is, you do have people that love you that kind of also, magnify those worries that you already have, which, again, helps grow the limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Michael's parents still live in his childhood home they bought 30 some years ago.
Yeah, we have purchased 300% more homes than they have purchased. Yeah. So yeah, like a lot of it, there was a lot of outside influence. A big moment for me was, I can do the math, I can run the scenarios, I can run worst case scenarios, I can do all those things. But it was kind of like, when I finally got to the point of showing it to her and she was like, yeah, okay, let's do this. It was like, okay. Like, so you're the person like you need to be ready and okay when they say go and to make the move. Cause that's when it's happening and that's when you go. And I think that's a good, as a couple and like a team, having someone as almost that backstop or like that check fail safe of like, this is a terrible idea. Your numbers make, like, if you can't explain this to me, this is a bad idea kind of a thing. So I think having that member of the team who can kind of weed through all the nonsense and figure out if it's a good idea or not is definitely valuable.